Hello, beautiful souls. It has been a minute since I have made a video for this channel, and really that's because I've been going through so much expansion and growth and personal development, and there's just been a lot going on in my life, on the planet, and I've just not been inspired to share here. But in the last few weeks, my guides have really been inspiring me to some new projects, and I'm just feeling very inspired to step into this space as a platform that I can utilize to create some big shifts, not only for myself, but for the community at large. So here I am, and I'm really excited to share with you what's coming through for me, coming through from my guides, and to really just step into a new chapter on this journey. So there's so many things. So right now I'm feeling deeply inspired to step into my personal dreams and mission here in this life. And it's very much something that I have put off because I either didn't feel like I was ready for it or I had the resources for it. But you never get the resources for the thing unless you put it out there so that it can be nurtured not only by yourself but a community if that's what you need. And so there have been so many synchronicities to show me that the time is now. And I'm going to start off with a little story that really just highlights how things are coming through for me, and then I want to share with you some of the projects I want to work on, and I would love to get people involved. So we will start that process. This morning, I have been feeling a lot of, well, in general, but this morning I was feeling a lot of anxiety about what's going on the planet, what's going on in my personal life, why things are the way they are, and just really wanting some clarity and some guidance. And what popped into my head was Teal Swan creates a prediction for each year at the beginning of the year. And I actually hadn't watched this year's prediction. And, we're coming to the end of the year, and I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to watch it. I want to, maybe get a little bit of a beat on what's going on the planet, what was, kind of coming down the pipeline for us, see if any of that resonates, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to go watch it. So I opened up the YouTube app, and the first thing that pops up for me, like in my suggestions, is a Teal Swan video, and in big letters on the thumbnail it says, "What's going on?" or something like that. Or I was like, what is happening? And it was uploaded 23 hours ago, and I was like, and so I clicked on it, and it was literally her expressing exactly what I was looking for. Why is the energy the way it is? What's going on our planet? What's holding us back from manifesting what we want? And the big takeaway from that video was we are no longer able to resist where we need to grow. We need to own the thing we keep resisting, because it's the only way we're going to shift our manifestations from what we don't want to what we do. Like, we need to stop resisting what's coming through for us. And I just had to laugh, because I was like, that's literally the thing. Like, I know exactly what I want to be doing, but for some reason I haven't taken the action forward to do it. What my big passion is creating sustainable, affordable, in-person community where people can come and live and have the emotional, physical, and mental support of having a sacred, intentional community around them. And I don't mean just a small piece of land with a few people on it. I mean creating this as a new way of being on our planet. And I see so many people, especially mothers, because I talk to a lot of other mothers just because, I've become a mother in this past, 2 years, how much humans have been separated and isolated, and how much that's affecting us emotionally and mentally, because we are a social species. You wouldn't ask a deer to just power through and live on its own. It's a communal species, and so are humans. Just like you wouldn't ask a gorilla or any other primate to live on its own. It's not its natural state, and it does suffer when it doesn't have that community, and humans are experiencing that right now. So the real problem I see is the fact that I hear so many people talk about wanting to live in community. Like, it's, especially in the spiritual community, it's like across the board kind of like the goal, right? But what I'm noticing is, of all of those people, it is a fraction, a very small fraction of people who actually have decided to take the steps to do that. And I feel like there's this huge disconnect, because it's like everyone's like, I want to live in community, I want to be sustainable, I want to live intentionally, I want to create this new earth, but no one's actually making the legitimate plan to do that. You have to quit your job, you have to connect with other people, you have to decide, I'm going to move to a community, I'm going to move myself and actually go do that. And most people aren't willing to do that, and then they wonder why that dream of community isn't happening. And it's almost like they're hoping that other people will do it and it will be created in a big way, and then they'll be like, okay, now it's safe to do, and then they'll go do it. That's not how things work. We have to actively decide to do the thing and create it. That's why we are creating New Earth. When we say we're creating New Earth, everyone kind of wants to be like, yeah, we are creating it now, I hope other people do it, so that then I can kind of like do it after them when it's like comfortable. And here's the thing, creating a new world isn't inherently comfortable, but I'll tell you, it's freeing. It's gonna feel so much healthier. It's going to be so revitalizing. And part of self-love and self-care is actually choosing to take the step to put yourself in the space you genuinely want to be. The other problem is, I feel like there's this split energy on what people actually want. I hear so many people talk about sustainable community, but everyone wants to be the person in charge of that community, right? Like, I've talked to so many people, they're like, well, I want to start a community, but I still want to have my own house and space and land. And then I want to like create the community over here. And it's like, well, that's not community. That's still kind of like being in the model of like, I want my own space, I want to be on my own, but I want the added bonus and benefit of having people in the general vicinity. That just doesn't work together. Like, you can't be separate and together at the same time. And I think some of that is a reflection of the fact that people don't feel safe with other people right now. So it's hard for them to imagine being in community and actually feeling like they could have their sacred autonomy and feel safe and actually feel supported and not like put upon and controlled. I think we have this really hard time believing that we can have our freedom, our autonomy, and also be in community. And so I feel like there's this serious disconnect. And so if people want to be in community, there's this feeling of like, well, I want to still be in charge of what happens so that I don't feel like I lose myself within the community. And I think that's something that really needs to be looked at for sure. So I don't think necessarily like share houses is where it's going to be at, even though some people will probably do that. I think it's about really creating a space, having a large space, almost city-like. We'll be creating villages, and we'll be creating actual large community where the intention and how everyone works together is much more cohesive, but that everyone genuinely still has their little piece, like their little space, because I think everyone needs their own autonomy as well. I've had this vision for like a decade now. Yeah, around a decade. And I have channeled so many visions of what this is going to look like. I see there being many cities where people can move in between them. Like, if you are a part of one of these cities, you can get transferred to another one. You can move around the world. I have an entire transportation system that I would like to implement. I have so many ideas. And frankly, all I need to implement these things are the people and the money, which I realize are big things, but the vision is there. I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. I'm done seeing that in the future. Like, our planet needs it now. People need it now. And I think we need an actual general plan to make that happen. And it's not just going to happen tomorrow, but I don't want to wait 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, there's got to be some middle ground. I'm going to sit with my guides and I'm going to channel a plan. And what I want to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to actively put it out there and set up a system where we, as a community, whoever wants to, can start coming together and creating resources so that we can actually start a legitimate logical plan to do this. I just saw 1111. That's amazing. To start a legitimate plan so that in 10 years we can look back and say we did it. We came together. And I want to start one city, and as it starts flourishing and as it gets going, I want to start another one, and I want to start another one, and I want to create a new way of being, a new way of human existence, because frankly, we are falling apart. People are feeling like they are barely surviving right now. And when you're in survival mode, you cannot thrive. You cannot be your best version. You cannot support people the way you'd like to. You can't experience the human existence the way you would like to. And I know absolutely that this is the energy and the plan that I was put here for. I incarnated as a human through the feline consciousness to bring this new way of being onto the planet. And I know I'm not the other one, but I do feel like it is a small portion of us who are actually wanting to do it, in the sense of the ones to do it first, the ones who are actually going to put a plan in practice and actually do that, because a lot of people don't feel like they can, or maybe they don't have the motivation, they don't have the vision, they just like the idea of saying, I want to be more supported, I want to live in community, I want to live in a different way where I am abundant and thriving and in my passion and in my heart space and in my truth, where everyone is doing that. So we live in a synchronistic way that is so much more conducive to personal and communal health. And I'm tired of waiting around. I'm tired of putting this vision on the back burner. So I don't have it all planned out. I do know what I want it to look like. I still need to come up with the logical steps so that we as a community now, in the next week, few months, can actively start taking steps to creating this vision. And I have some ideas, and I do want to make some videos in the coming weeks to start creating that. And honestly, all it's going to take is people to just say, yes, I actually want to do that, and actually start putting in the time, effort, energy, money to do that. And if we as a community can do that, and we all put in a little bit, we can make that happen. A little bit, a lot of times, creates a very big thing, right? And so we just have to get this ball rolling and actually recognize that if we all support each other, we will slowly build each space so that we can, more and more and more of us can start living this lifestyle and create this vision we want. I know for me that if I don't do this, there's a part of me that won't feel like I'm living my purpose, my life's purpose. I know the type of world I want to be living in, and because it doesn't currently exist, I am going to create it. I am going to do this. I don't know to what scale, because I only have so many years on this planet, but I do know that I will be a part of making it happen in general. And however much I see of that, I don't know, but I do want to make it happen. And I do know that most people on this planet are deeply, deeply desiring what it is I have to offer. And therefore, I feel like it is my job and my mission to make that happen. But it is going to take us all coming together and doing it together. I don't know how many of you have heard of the Free State Project. It's something that happened when I was much younger. My parents were a part of it. Basically, the kind of anarchist freedom movement decided that things would be better if a lot of them were in one place so that they could really actively create a living environment that felt good to them. And they all voted and decided that New Hampshire was the place to do that. And they called it the Free State Project. And thousands of people moved to New Hampshire to create change. They actively decided, the Free State Project was going to take, I think they set like 5 years or 10 years or something like that. And they're like, in this 10 years, let's all decide to make a plan to move in this direction. So over the course of 5-10 years, tons of people moved to New Hampshire to create the community they desired. And I don't think it was quite as big as they were hoping it was, but thousands of people did move, and it was really amazing. And I think that's what we need that kind of mindset of saying like, okay, we are going to set up a plan, and then we are actively going to say, okay, for the next 5 years, we are going to make this happen. People are going to actively choose to move to these communities. We're going to actively choose to learn about what that's going to look like, what that's going to take, right? We're going to start growing our own food. We are going to start living more sustainably. We are going to start learning how to build our own houses. We're going to create conscious, intentional schools for our children so that they can actually live full, abundant, intentional, manifestational lives, where they are going to step into a world where they feel empowered and compassionate and kind and uplifted and empowered to do the things that they put their mind to. They're not going to have to do all the healing that we had to do, because they are going to be set on a trajectory that is so much more intentional and uplifted and supported. And that's really what I want, not only for me, but for my children and for the beautiful beings that I share space with, mostly on the internet, who clearly want the same thing. And we have to start recognizing that we need to come together and find common ground, instead of, keep pointing fingers and saying, well, you don't do this and I don't like this about you. That's not going to work for us anymore as humans. It is clearly tearing apart our planet, and everyone is going to suffer the consequences of that if we don't actively choose something different. And so this is me coming here saying, no, I want something different. And I'm actively going to be putting my attention into actually doing it. I'm not just going to say, oh, that'd be nice. Oh, that'd be great. Hope someone else does it so I can. No, I'm done waiting around for other people to do it. The time is now. The time is now, because either we are going to come together and create something beautiful, or we are going to fall apart. We're at a really weird crux in our planetary experience. And I truly believe we are going in a positive direction. So often a positive change comes out of discomfort. Unfortunately, that's how humans work. Someone's got to decide, all right, this is enough. Let's do something different. Someone has to decide to do that. And frankly, I'm done waiting around for it to be someone else. So if this inspires you, if this sounds like something that you're like, yeah, I do want to do that, hit the subscribe button if you aren't already. Comment down below. Let's get a running list. Let's see who's on board with something like this. Do you actively want to actually be a part of something like this, or do you just like talking about it and thinking about it? Because if that's the case, do that. But find joy in what you're doing. Because if you don't actively want to make or take the inspired action to do the thing, go do something else. And that's okay. But the people who actually want to do this, let's get together. Let's do the thing and actually create the world we want. Because we can think about it all day long, but after we think about it, after we tune, we have to take inspired action. And this is now the time. At least it is for me. And I know it is for a lot of people. And sometimes that's a little uncomfortable. Humans often don't like change. But we want a changed world. So that's going to take us doing something, right? And that's obviously once we tune to it, once we align to it, once we envision it. But we've been doing that for a long time, haven't we? We know what we want. Let's actually do it. Let's move through the discomfort and actually do the thing we have all been dreaming of doing. And imagine in 10 years looking back and saying, wow, what a new earth we live on. Or even just, wow, look how much we've shifted. Look where we're going. Look at this positive direction we're moving into. It's what's in my heart, and it is what I'm being inspired to do. And I'm making new goals for myself, new intention, because I'm done waiting around on myself. We live on a glorious planet. Humans have so much glorious potential to create a world that is just magnificent. We already live in a magnificent world, but we don't utilize it in a way that helps it to come to full capacity. We have a huge capacity for amazing good and amazing destruction. And it comes down to what we decide to do with it. We have so much energy. We have so much power. Let's utilize it for something that is glorious so that we can create a beautiful space where we're connected to nature, where we live in tune with each other, in tune with nature, in tune with our spirit guides, in tune with something bigger and greater. I'll leave you with this. One of the reasons Star Trek is such a popular show, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it, especially Next Generation. It's glorious. It's one of the only shows where it shows humans in the future where it's not apocalyptic. It shows what would happen if humans actually made the positive changes and came together and elevated themselves to being their full potential. And it is extremely uplifting. And it really shows you that we are capable of it, because we do that in small pockets. But it's time to really come together and do it globally. And so if you haven't watched Star Trek, especially Next Generation, go do it. Get inspired. Look at what we can be. And I'm not saying that's the exact world we want to create, but that show is inspiring because it really puts humans in a positive light. So much of our consciousness is focused on the fact that humans, I just saw it, that humans are destructive. We're told all the time, humans are the problem, humans are destructive, humans are dangerous, humans are fill in the blank. I'm done with that narrative. I want to start owning the fact that humans are creators, we're artists, we're lovers, we're compassionate, we are community. And if we start owning that part of ourselves, it's going to be amazing to see what we can do for our planet and for each other. All right, beautiful souls. So stay tuned. I will be creating more content. I will be creating a plan for doing this in the future. So again, comment down below if this is something that you want to be a part of, genuinely. Like you say, in the next 5 years, I want to be moving to a community and doing this thing somewhere in the world, somewhere glorious. And if you don't want to move to that one, we will be creating more. Okay? So we need to come together to start compiling our resources so we can start creating these spaces one at a time, so that we can slowly all start having the space to do that. So let me know. Again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because we are starting a journey. It's happening. It is happening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. You are a blessing and a beautiful, important part of this creation we're building. So much love to you all. I'm glad to be back. We're doing the thing. You are loved, you are appreciated, and you are worthy of living a life that feels supported, uplifted, and in a thriving energy. Much love, and talk to you very soon.